We are going to look at the architecture, the framework, the anatomy of a propaganda operation. We've done this before. Before Tucker Carlson got fired from Fox News, I would sometimes go through how a completely harebrained conspiratorial opinion becomes, quote, the news on Fox News. And the way it would often happen is Tucker would go on TV at 8 or 9 p.m. or 10 p.m. I don't remember what time he was on. And he's an opinion show. Remember, there's the Fox News people and the Fox opinion people. And Tucker would say something like, it's very clear at this point that the FBI set up the January 6th riots, for example, something crazy like that. And then the next morning on Fox and Friends, the Fox and Friends people, who are sort of like halfway between news and opinion. I would argue they're basically opinion, but I think Fox considers them kind of more on the news side. They would say, Tucker Carlson last night argued that the FBI obviously planned the riots. Here's a clip from Tucker from last night. So now you take Tucker's unhinged opinion, you inject it into something that is like pseudo news. And then you get to the noon news hour on Fox News. And at this point, it's been 12 hours of Tucker suggesting the FBI planned January 6th and Fox and Friends referring to the fact that Tucker did. And then now it's completely indistinguishable from just some harebrained conspiracy that Tucker floated the night before. And that's how they turn the propaganda and conspiracies into something that tricks people into plausibly being news. Something very similar happened with Sinclair broadcast stations, which are all over the country, owned by Sinclair, local news stations, and the Wall Street Journal piece on Joe Biden's brain, which has now been widely debunked. Now, as I told you guys when the story came out, I believed that it was worthy of reporting on the fact that the story was written. Most of you agreed with me. Some people were angry that I even told you about the story. The reason being that the allegations were at least plausibly better sourced than some of the Trump just saying Biden doesn't know what day it is stuff. Annie Linsky, despite working for the right-wing Wall Street Journal, is a reporter with a relatively trustworthy track record. I mentioned in the reporting, some of the sourcing seems a little suspect, but I want you to know the story is out there. There's a bunch of holes in it. We're going to continue to cover it. The next day, the story was debunked, and I came to you and we discussed that. However, on Sinclair stations, they used the Wall Street Journal piece, which was extraordinarily widely debunked by the time that a lot of these stories went to air. They gave the same damn script to every station, and it led to the exact same monologues, different anchors all across the country making the exact same point. This is how these organizations spread these propaganda stories. Aaron Rupar and Judd Legum have a great piece about this, which we're linking to. Take a look at this.
The Wall Street Journal calling into question the mental fitness of President Joe Biden. As national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could decide the election.
Wall Street Journal has published a story which calls the mental fitness of President Biden into question. As national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could be an election decider.
Should he be on that or any ballot? The Wall Street Journal is out with new reporting calling into question the mental fitness of President Joe Biden.
Same script all across the country, article debunked.
As national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could be an election decider.
As the Wall Street Journal is out with reporting calling into question the mental fitness of President Biden. We want to know, are you worried about President Biden's mental fitness? As national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could be an election decider.
As the Wall Street Journal is out with new reporting calling into question the mental fitness of President Joe Biden.
And as national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could be an election decider.
Lawmakers think this can be an election decider.
The Wall Street Journal is out with reporting calling into question the mental fitness of President Joe Biden. As national correspondent Matt Gelka tells us, the issue could be an election decider.
And the reason they keep talking about Matt Gelka is then they cut to a package. They cut to a package of Matt Gelka, every single one of these stations.
The November election just 3 months away, and President Joe Biden's mental fitness being questioned once again. According to a Wall Street Journal report, members in both political parties have serious concerns about his cognitive ability. National correspondent Matt Gelka has more on those concerns.
The Wall Street Journal is out with reporting.
Okay, you get it. I could play 4 more minutes of this stuff for you, but every single one of these scripts is the same. I have been talking for more than a decade on this program about how your local news is not really local in many cases. Generically, your half-hour local news, which is sort of 30 minutes loosely, you take out 8 minutes of commercials, you have 22 minutes left. Of those 22 minutes, often close to a third of that is weather. Weather is actually local, fine, but you can also find out your weather in 15 seconds by looking at your smartphone. You take out the weather from the 22 minutes and you often have 16 or 15 minutes left. Often a full half to 2/3 of the 15 minutes of actual news on local news is national stuff. Either a package, if it's an ABC affiliate station from ABC or whatever, or in the case of Sinclair stations, it is a regurgitation of some script written for every single one of these stations to read. And the reason this is so pernicious, and Aaron and Judd talk about this in the public notice piece that we're linking to, it's very clever to disguise the Wall Street Journal hit piece as local news because people tend to trust local news way more. They don't realize it's not really the local news. In general, we hear people don't trust the news. They're usually thinking of corporate and national news. But when you ask them about your local news, your local NBC affiliate, local Fox affiliate, they trust it far, far more. And so when they are getting the Biden story delivered by their local anchor, they trust it way more. Now, as a practical matter, does anyone in my audience watch this local news now? Like personally, I don't know anyone under 65 that's watching this stuff. Clearly, some people are because it's a very effective and powerful tactic. So my question to you is, are any of you watching these local news stations? And part of the reason I think the answer is also no, is I think if you were watching the local news and you saw that piece, at least some of you would have emailed me and would have said, hey, that propaganda piece that's already been debunked by the Wall Street Journal, it's made it into my local news. The architecture and anatomy of disseminating propaganda. Have you seen these people search sites? It's a big data privacy problem in the United States because they publish detailed personal profiles on millions of Americans online for anyone to see. And it is crazy. They can show your address, your internet activity, license plate number, even your political or religious beliefs. Government agencies like the FBI and NSA even buy this data to potentially use against you. Our sponsor, Incogni, is the affordable service that will send automatic data removal requests to these data brokers who are required by law to comply. Incogni even follows up with the data brokers to make sure your data is permanently gone, and Incogni keeps you updated every step of the way. I use it myself. It is remarkable what they can get done for you. I barely get any spam and robocalls anymore, and these data broker lists are where they're usually getting that information. That alone makes Incogni worth it. And my audience gets 60% off. Go to incogni.com/Pacman and use the code Pacman. The link is down below.